The day is done. Most men end the day the same way they spend it, reacting, scrolling through what others did, watching what others built, consuming until the mind finally surrenders to sleep, carrying everything it never put down. The Stoics had a different understanding of what the evening was for, not recovery, not entertainment, reckoning. Marcus Aurelius ended every day by returning to himself, by examining it, by putting the day to rest deliberately, the way you would close a forge, banking the coals so the fire is ready in the morning. A day lived without examination is a day lived twice, once in the living and once in the carrying, because what you do not process, you do not release, you carry it into sleep, into the next morning, into the week. Epictetus wrote that you should never go to sleep without first asking, what did I resist that I should have accepted? What did I accept that I should have resisted? Where did I fall short of the man I intended to be today? These are not comfortable questions. That is precisely why most men never ask them. And that is precisely why most men wake up tomorrow as the same version of themselves who went to sleep. There are 5 elements to a Stoic evening ritual. Each one takes minutes. Together, they constitute the act of putting a man's day to rest with intention. The 4th element is the one the Stoics called the hardest discipline. Not because it requires effort, but because it requires honesty. Ritual 1. The threshold. The deliberate act of leaving the day behind before you enter the evening. The Norse understood thresholds. Crossing from the hall into the home was a transition with meaning. You left one world and entered another. The warrior set down his weapons at the door. Your threshold is wherever the work ends. Create one. A physical act that signals the transition, changing clothes, washing your hands, stepping outside for 2 minutes of cold air. It does not matter what the act is. What matters is that it is deliberate, repeated, and respected. You are not simply stopping work. You are leaving one version of yourself and re-entering another. The threshold makes that real. Set down what you carry before you enter what you love. Ritual 2. The body's release. The evening demands something physical, not for fitness, but for transition. The Norse did not simply eat and sleep after the day's labor. They gathered, they moved, they told stories around fire. The body was brought down slowly, not switched off abruptly. 10 to 20 minutes of deliberate physical decompression. A slow walk, stretching with intention, cold water on the face and neck. Not training, unwinding. The nervous system needs a signal that the day's demands are over. Give it one. The man who goes from screen to pillow without this transition does not sleep deeply. He lies down carrying the day's cortisol and calls it rest. The body knows the day is over when you tell it. Tell it deliberately. Ritual 3. The reading. 1 page of something that makes you think rather than feel stimulated. Marcus Aurelius read philosophy before sleep. Seneca wrote letters, meditations on how to live in the evening hours. Not entertainment, not distraction. Substance. 1 page or 10 minutes of something that asks something of you intellectually or philosophically. The Meditations, Epictetus, a biography of a man who built something worth studying. History, natural philosophy. The purpose is not information. It is to end the day with your mind pointed towards something worthy rather than something stimulating. What you fill your mind with before sleep is what it processes in the dark. Fill it with something worth processing. What you read before sleep is what your mind works on while you rest. Ritual 4. The reckoning. The hardest discipline. The one the Stoics called non-negotiable. Marcus Aurelius did not write the Meditations for publication. He wrote them for himself. as a daily reckoning, a private court in which he was both judge and defendant. You open the journal and you ask 3 questions, not in your head, on the page. Because on the page, you cannot lie to yourself as easily. First, where did I act with integrity today? Name one thing, specifically, not generally. Second, where did I fall short of the man I intend to be? Name one thing, specifically, not as self-punishment, as intelligence gathering. A general who does not study where his lines broke cannot hold them tomorrow. Third, what does tomorrow require of me that today did not? One thing, written as a commitment, not a wish. Close the journal. The reckoning is complete. What you have written cannot be undone or forgotten. It exists now. And that is precisely the point. On the page, you cannot lie to yourself as easily. Ritual 5. The deliberate dark. The final act. The one most men are unwilling to do. 1 hour before sleep, the screens go dark. Not because the science demands it, though it does. Because the man who cannot sit with himself for 1 hour without external stimulation is not a man in control of his own mind. The Norse longhouse fell quiet after dark. The Stoics wrote by oil lamp. The absence of artificial light was not a hardship. It was a signal. The day is done. What comes now belongs to rest, to thought, to those beside you. You do not need to fill this hour. You need to not fill it. Talk to the people in your home. Sit in silence. Tend to something with your hands. Let the mind slow down the way a fire does when you stop feeding it. This is the most countercultural act in this entire ritual, and the one with the most immediate return. The man who cannot sit with himself for 1 hour does not own his mind. The day is done, not discarded, not escaped, examined, and put to rest. The man who does this consistently does not simply sleep better. He wakes differently. He carries less. He begins each morning with a mind that was clean the night before, rather than one still processing the residue of yesterday. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At the end of the day, return to yourself." He did not mean return to your comfort. He meant return to your standards, to the man you decided to be, and measure the day against him. That man is not a destination. He is a practice. One evening at a time.